Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursdays. So I have a couple of questions for you. Do you really need dozens, if not hundreds, of fragrances in your collection? Absolutely not. The other question that I have for you is, do you want to smell amazing at all times while saving money and simplifying the process you go through every day to select your fragrances? Well, if those are some of the questions that you have and certainly the answers, well then this video is for you. Because today I will be sharing with you the only 5 fragrances that you need. Of course, this is my opinion and they are subject to you selecting your own, but I will be sharing with you what I consider to be the only 5 fragrances that you need for any season of the year, any occasion, and day and night. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and in this channel we love to talk about fragrances because we love to smell fabulous at all times. I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and sometimes you even get a bonus video for the week. If that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So as I said in the opening, today is all about my sharing with you the only 5 fragrances that you need as a part of your fragrance wardrobe. Some of you may be asking, okay, but what does she mean by fragrance wardrobe? Well, just like you have a wardrobe of garments or clothes that you pull from on a daily basis, depending on your activities for the day, you also have a group of fragrances that you pull from to complete your outfit and the feel of the day. But I do know that, especially with Middle Eastern fragrances, we get caught up in loving them all so much that we just keep adding new fragrances to our collection, and it makes it more and more difficult for us to be able to pick just a couple of fragrances on a daily basis to complete our outfits and the vibe that we're feeling for that day. So whether you're starting your fragrance collection from scratch, or you've decided to downsize, or you just want to know what are 5 fragrances that would probably cover the gamut of everything that you have going on in your life, that is what I will be focusing on today. Just providing you with 5 fragrances, a very limited selection that I truly believe will be enough for you to cover anything that's going on in your life. So ultimately, what is the goal? The goal is to smell amazing at all times. As a fragrance lover, that's probably what you're looking to do. What you want to ensure is that you have fragrances that make you smell and feel amazing at all times. So what is the key to selecting these 5 fragrances? It's all about you. Go with your gut instinct. Select versatile fragrances, as in no specific scent profile. You do not want to pick fragrances that are either too fruity or too floral, or that have a very, very specific vibe, as they will limit their versatility and your ability to use them all throughout the year for any occasion. Always remember, it's a journey, so you should be able to update your only 5 list every so often, as you introduce new fragrances to your collection or as you make changes to your preferences. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the fragrances. But before we do, I just want you to know that I made sure that the 5 fragrances that I've selected to share with you today are fragrances that are appropriate for any age group. In addition to that, these are fragrances that have no oud. Not only has oud not been disclaimed in the notes from the fragrance house, but also I do not pick up on any oud when wearing these fragrances. Last, and of course very important, all the fragrances that I've selected for you today are fragrances that have impeccable performance and of course Fragrances that I'm pretty sure will get you compliments, as every time I wear them, I don't get one or two compliments. It's definitely a multitude of compliments. So I have organized the 5 fragrances and will be sharing with you depending on not necessarily just occasions, but also the feel that you're looking to convey or experience for a specific day. So first I'm going to go ahead and start with a fragrance that I feel is absolutely perfect for special events. Now, I'm not talking just about formal or black tie or gala events. No, this is a fragrance that I would reserve only for those times where you want to feel special, and one where you know that the event or the occasion will be a memorable one. And of course, you want to have a scent that is perfect to go along with those memories. And for this, I think that the perfect fragrance would be KHADLAJ MAISON FLOR Oud. Now, this is a fragrance that gives that total understated elegance and sophistication vibe. This is a lovely, lovely fragrance that has some florals and some fruits. If you've been with me for a while, of course, this was not a surprise, because this is one of my top recommendations as it relates to Middle Eastern fragrances. This is definitely a fragrance that you could choose to make it your signature scent. That is really up to you. But this is such a special fragrance. There's some rose here, some jasmine, some mandarin oranges, a beautiful pear note, some sandalwood. It is just a delight. This is a fragrance that will also get you a ton of compliments. This is not a fragrance that when you walk in will make a bold statement or anything like that, because again, it is all about that beautiful, understated elegance. Something where you do not have to scream, "I am here," but they will know that you're present. The next fragrance that I will be sharing with you is one that I believe is perfect for date night. And I'm being very, very specific. So this is the fragrance that you want to pull when you have a special outing with that new special someone, or that special someone that has been in your life for quite a while. And the fragrance that I highly recommend as your date night scent would be ARMAF Miss ARMAF MYSTIQUE. My goodness, when I tell you that this is the perfect date night fragrance. I never thought that I would fall in love as I have for this fragrance, but this is not a fragrance that I would pull for everyday use whatsoever, not even for a daytime type of occasion. This is definitely not even like a night event. This is very specific to when I want to feel sexy and hot and sensually alluring. This is the fragrance when you want to get the attention and retain the attention of your loved or special one. It is fruity. It has a good amount of vanilla. There's a depth to it, which brings that sexy vibe that I'm talking about. To me, this fragrance is clearly a date night type of scent. There's some white florals in here, and then there's like a romanticism to those florals because there's a beautiful note of patchouli. The patchouli pairs beautifully with the white florals, and then there's like an added coffee note. I tell you, the composition of this fragrance is an absolute delight. And I assure you, your special loved one or partner will not be able to take their eyes and much less stop sniffing you if you're wearing this fragrance. This is a fragrance that will make you feel fiercely beautiful and like the ultimate seductress. So if we're talking about the only 5 for a fragrance wardrobe, you know it would not be complete unless we select a freshie. And I think that the perfect freshie, and please just bear with me because you are going to be a little bit surprised about the fragrance that I recommend for this category. But I tell you, when it comes to the perfect freshie all year round, any occasion, I think that SHAGHAF Men is definitely the fragrance for you. So I spoke about this fragrance recently. I think it was another Middle Eastern Thursday, but I did mention that although this was designed for men or with men in mind, this to me is not a men's fragrance at all, and I will continue to stand my ground on that opinion. This is a fragrance that to my nose is truly unisex and actually leans a bit feminine. That being said, it is the perfect Freshy fragrance. This is a fragrance that you want to reserve for those days where you just want to feel clean and fresh and you are just like lighthearted and light-spirited for the day, no complications. You just want to get up and go. This is the fragrance. Even if it's for a formal event where you just want to feel fresh because that is the vibe that you're feeling for that day, this is the fragrance. I tell you, this is a freshie that actually performs exquisitely. It's not one of those freshies that you spray and just disappears in about 20 minutes. No, this one definitely has a pull. It has a very strong projection for the first 2 hours, and then it becomes a scent bubble for another hour, I would say, and then it becomes a skin scent. But the skin scent with this fragrance is one that you're going to get wafts of all throughout the day, as this is a fragrance that will easily get you 7+ hours. And like I said, a ton of compliments. This fragrance has an unbelievably beautiful marine quality to it. It does also have a balsamic quality to it. It's like balsamic and marine. It is sweet. Of course, it has a good amount of citrus notes in here that just make the fragrance perfection. It's spicy and it has a beautifully done cinnamon. And I also pick up on a good amount of lavender. But I can tell you that the lavender in this fragrance actually reminds me of another fragrance that I absolutely love. They're not the same, but just to give you some sort of reference, the lavender in this fragrance reminds me of the lavender that you find in Burberry Goddess. It is just done exquisitely. I tell you, this is the freshie. So the next fragrance that I have for you is in the category of the professional. So this is the fragrance that you would pull on a daily basis for the office or for any office related event. And I am speaking about LATAFFA's MUSAMAM White Intense. When I tell you, this fragrance is absolutely incredible, guys. If you've been with me for a while, I'm sure you're not surprised that this fragrance made this very limited cut, because you do know how I absolutely love this fragrance. This is a fragrance that's worthy of being a signature scent. I tell you, if you haven't tried this fragrance, I really recommend that you get your hands on it, because this is one that you really do not want to pass up. So this is a perfect fragrance for the office or for any office related event, any work related event. This fragrance will get you through any season, any occasion related to your job, whether it's day or night. It is a fragrance that, while performs exquisitely because it will get you 8+ hours and it does project quite strong during the first 2 hours, it is not a fragrance that is screechy or loud in any kind of way. This is a highly sophisticated blend that has been done masterfully. All of the notes play very well together, delivering a scent that is just perfection for that professional setting. This is a fragrance where the focus is on the yellow florals and the citrus notes. But while at that, it's a bit sweet, but not very sweet. It has some beautiful woody notes. It's also a bit powdery, which in my opinion just adds to that air of sophistication. There's also some vanilla, which at the dry down clearly comes through to my nose, mixed with that coconut and all those other wonderful notes. This fragrance is truly one that will definitely get you noticed, but in a nice, demure way. It is perfect for the professional setting. So the last fragrance that I want to share with you is from a category that I like to call on the go. And to me, this is probably the most important of categories because this is where I typically keep my signature scent. Because this is for those days where you don't have time for anything. And of course, we all experience that quite frequently. You don't have time to get too complicated or to think too much. You're just throwing on some powder, some lip gloss, some mascara, your fragrance, and you're out the door because you're either running late or you have quite a day and you're just anxious to get out there. For whatever reason, you are on the go, so you have very limited time and you don't have time to go into the process of considering multiple fragrances. So this is your go-to fragrance, which is almost, to me, as I said before, the equivalent of being your signature scent. Because when in doubt, this is the fragrance that you will pull. And for this category, I think the perfect fragrance would be Swiss Arabian's Casablanca. Now this fragrance, guys, I'm sure that if you're a fragrance lover, this is not your first time hearing about Casablanca. But Casablanca is an extremely special fragrance. This is one of my lifer fragrances. This was a lifer for me even before I really started to explore Middle Eastern fragrances. This fragrance is almost a masterpiece in my opinion. This is a fragrance that you could definitely consider a signature scent. This is one that you can pull for any season of the year, any occasion, day or night. So let's say that you're going to even a formal event in the evening and you just don't feel like going through the process of considering multiple fragrances, or you don't have the time, or it was like a last minute type of thing and you just haven't been able to get yourself together. It was hard enough to pick the outfit for the event. So imagine now having to pair it with the right fragrance. Well, this is the type of fragrance that you want to have for situations like that. Whether it's a formal event, an informal event, a daytime, nighttime, summer, spring, fall, winter, this is the fragrance. An absolutely exquisite fragrance that will always make you feel good when you wear it and will make you feel beautiful and confident. So even though you're in a rush and you may even be a little bit scattered for the day, this fragrance has the ability to alter your mood and make you feel well put together. Casablanca to me is like bordering on a gourmand. It is fruity but not too fruity, so it doesn't come across necessarily as a fruity fragrance. I think that the highlight to my nose of this fragrance is a beautifully done caramel note. While having some fruitiness to it and having that very dominant caramel note, the funny thing is that it's also fresh, so it's not cloying at all, which makes it an extremely versatile fragrance that you can use all year round. It also has like a touch of greenness that just brings a bit more edge to it. And it's also like a bit powdery, not very powdery, but the powderiness is not light. It's just like perfect for the fragrance. It's also musky and it has a bit of a balsamic quality to it. I tell you, this fragrance is one that, oh my goodness, guys, you just cannot fail with this fragrance. This is another fragrance that if you haven't gotten your nose on it, I highly encourage you to do so, and you can thank me later. Casablanca. All right, guys, so that's all I had for you today. But I think that this was necessary. It was necessary for us to have this discussion because, you know, we're always hauling Middle Eastern fragrances and discovering new gems. And I understand and I love to do that. But unless you review fragrances, you really don't need to have an arsenal of dozens, if not hundreds of fragrances. You can always just choose to keep it simple and have 5, or you can have an extensive collection of fragrances and have 5 that at any given time, you know, they are your 5 ride or die fragrances. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So anyway, guys, thank you so much as always for hanging with me on yet another Middle Eastern Thursday, and I will see you in the next video.